All right, blessings, kingdom blessings. We're back. We are back. Had some technical difficulties, so we're gonna jump right back in.
We'll start from the top.
Yeah, we starting right back on the top. So we just want to thank you all on this blessed, beautiful day. Coming back again, just wanted to continue in our journey as a united front in our marriage journey. The good, the bad, the ugly, the sad, and just equipping married couples, equipping people with tools to nourish, to cultivate, and to continue to build up their relationship, not only with themselves, but with God.
Absolutely. You know, and as we walk this journey, this is just some things that God placed on our hearts to talk about. This is our journey. And not saying that this will be your journey, but just sharing with our journey just so that some of the things that we're going to talk about is uncharted territory, or it's not talked about a lot in the church for whatever reason. But we want to make sure that we can talk about these things, because how else will we learn? We are helpers one to another. Iron sharpens iron. And since I'm married, and since I'm a wife, and since I have a stable and a happy marriage, and since God gave us this assignment, we do not take it lightly. So you are walking with us. This is not counseling. This is not meant for you to do it. We just want to give you some ideals, some tools, and then maybe just spark conversations within your own marriage. And again, if there's some topics that you want to discuss, please inbox us. We will 100% pray about it. And then if God gives it to us to release, we will 100% will address those questions. We will not tag your name in it. We won't do any of that. It just be a topic that we discuss and that we talk about. So we want to start off talking about intimacy. Let's talk about intimacy. And a lot of times we associate intimacy and sex. We interchange that. And I think that's just society that does that. I know when it comes to sex, the church don't want to talk about it at all. Like they don't want to deal with it. They don't want to talk about it. Even when you are about to get married, or even when you're married, it is pray, ask God, this and that. You know, but how will I know and how will I learn? I'm not asking you to tell me how to do the deed, but what I'm asking is, what does that involve? What does that entail? How can I do this as a wife? How can I do this as a husband? Like, give me some things, like just, that honestly, the end result of intimacy between a married couple is sex. That's the end result. A lot of times we get confused, and I used to say this all the time, and God gave me this. I was back in high school. I remember this. And I would tell people the end result is cheating is being intimate with that person. Because a lot of times we let people into a space that is not for them to go. We open up ourselves to too many people. We are too transparent with too many people. When I say transparent, I mean telling everything. Your deepest, your darkest secret. Blessings, everybody. Blessings, Prophetess Valerie, Prophetess Tiffany. Blessings, Apostle Mother. Prophetess Christina, Prophet Antoine. Blessings.
Blessings, Brother Ray.
Okay. Oh, blessings. Blessings. Yes.
Blessings, Brother Ray.
Okay. And so sometimes we have to talk about, how do I get to that end result? Okay. Because there are a lot of people who go through things and they feel like something is wrong with them. Well, we told them to have sex. That's what we said, because that's what you do in marriage. But what about the intimate part? What about the intimacy part? Because the end result of intimacy between a partner should be sex. But how do we lead up to that? It's so much more deeper. And the first thing we have to be honest with is being comfortable with saying, me and him are completely different. Completely different. And a lot of times people will feel like if you're completely different, you're unevenly yoked. That is not the same thing. Being different from somebody does not mean that I'm not evenly yoked with them. I'm just different. How I think is different. How I perceive things is different. How I move, how I maneuver, my vernacular, everything about me. I'm a female. My gender is different. There you go. But how we navigate that, and how we had to navigate that in the first stages of our marriage, it wasn't easy.
No, it wasn't, because you have your whole life. I had my whole life. And now you got these two whole lives that's supposed to come together and create a life.
Right.
And you try not to let either one of your lives spin out of control.
Right.
While you're still trying to build.
Right.
And I think it's so important, especially in marriage, especially nowadays with what is being spewed out across platforms, is to not only see a healthy marriage, but get tips, tools, and techniques. Because like you said, it might not work for everyone. This is not, something that's written in stone that when you flick this light, this is going to happen. Mm-hmm. But I guarantee you, if you try it, it just might work.
100%.
100%. And you might find that if you try it, it might not work. But the fact of the matter is that you tried. You put forth the work. You put forth the effort. You were willing to try. And as we journey on this together, it's just like, using different tools for different things.
Right.
You might find, because I love how you brought out the fact that sex and intimacy is different, but unless somebody tell you that, you won't know that.
Right.
If you go into a place where sex is taboo, nobody talk about it, or they tell you be fruitful and multiply, and that's all you told me to do is be fruitful and multiply. Listen, I'm gonna try to multiply every time I get.
That's how we grow apart.
Right.
That's how you get disconnected.
Right.
You know, and I know for a woman, from a female, and I only speak from a female, we are emotional beings. And that's not saying that we are crying. No, but we are all controlled by hormones. Females, we are controlled by 3 hormones. Men are controlled by 1, although they produce 2. With that being said, we are hormonal. We are hormonal. And with that being said, it takes more of us for us to get to that point where we want to share ourselves with you than it is for the physical part for a man.
We stay ready. We stay ready all the time.
However, we equate that with intimacy. We equate sex with how he feels. This is what he feels for me based upon how we have sex or sexual relations or intercourse. Whereas a man can have sexual intercourse with somebody that they don't even care about. There are women who can do that too, but we're just gonna say a man can do that without caring. However, for him to share with you his dreams, his fears, his darkest secrets, that takes an intimate connection. So why am I saying that? It doesn't matter what species we are, what gender we are, we still require an intimate connection for us to be totally connected. And we said that God calls us to be as one, right?
Right.
Whom God joins together, right? Let no man put asunder. So we're one in God's eyes. In order for us to be one, we have to have an intimate relationship. Let me tell you something. We don't even have to use words. I could be in a room automatically. I'm telling you, I can know what is going to make Prophet Jeff laugh. I can tell what's going to make him disgusted. I can tell, and I can just look at his face and I know what he's thinking. That's not because I'm psychic. That ain't even because I'm a prophet.
And you said something, the intimate connection, right? When you have an you first have to have an intimate connection with yourself.
Okay.
Because remember, we 2 whole different lives coming together. Now, when you have your intimate connection with yourself, you keep it real with yourself.
Yes.
So as men, we got to remember, we stay ready. We stay on the go. We stay ready to give, right? We are givers. We're providers. We're protectors. So we have to, because we stay on, and ready, we have to stay in that place where we control that and don't let that control us. Because what will end up happening is that we equate that to every single thing, especially in a marriage.
And then Apostle Mother brought up something, love language. I want to talk about that.
Yeah. Oh,
because
you talking about that?
Yes, I want to talk about that. Okay, we can talk about that.
Okay.
So love language. Okay.
Yes.
We have understood each other's love language, and people may not understand, but this is just our love language. Prophet Jeff is a very affectionate person, a very touchy-feely person. His love language, it would be what? What would you say your love language would be?
I don't know. Why don't you tell me?
Your love language is physical touch and words of affirmation.
Okay, come
yes,
on.
Your love language is physical touch and words of affirmation. It is imperative when he is looking for someone to have his back. He's looking for those words for me to say, yes, I see you. I acknowledge you. Also, women, I thank you. Yeah. I thank you. There's times I just call him and I just say, I just want to thank you for being the head. I thank you for taking the bullets. I thank you for taking the shots. I thank you for making the hard decisions. I thank you for saying the hard things. I thank you for dealing with things so that I don't have to. Physical touch. He is a physical touch person. I am not. I am a thug in these streets.
She's so and that, right there, I'm going to insert something there and that's why I say, especially for brothers, listen, you got to know you, because see, if you equate, I'm physical, she not. So if I'm equating how she responds to me to how and who I am, I'm going to get a miscommunicated, I'm going to get a disconnection when we pick up the phone.
Because you used to say to me, he's like, you the man.
Yeah, like
you should be the man. You act like the man.
Right, And see, but I also have to know your love language. Because your love language is acts of service. Because let's break it down. So love language, right? Acts of service, physical touch, words of affirmation, and receiving gifts. Your love language is acts of service, receiving gifts, and words of affirmation. Not so much words of affirmation. They can get the job done. Anyway. They can get the job done. Right. I like doing that because that's who I am.
You do.
But the acts of service and the giving gifts are yours. So if I equate how my love language is to your love language, because you don't respond in the way that I think you should, then I'm going to be confused and I'm going to think you don't love me. And vice versa.
And we were there at a point in time.
Oh, yeah.
Just being honest, Lord, we were 100% there at a point in time because we fell into that cliche. But about to say my love language is gifts and more gifts. I do. You know what? This is what I say. And people may think it's crazy, but I'll call him or I'll walk in a place. My kids even know this. I'll say, I need a gift. And he'll say, what kind of gift? He don't ask like for what. It don't have to be anything bad. I just be like, today is sunny. I feel like I need a gift.
And look, I'll be transparent. Y'all seen what I just did, right? Y'all seen that, right? But before we got here, see, we had to decode our language.
Yes.
Right? See, before I got to this point where I'm like, okay, I had to unpack and understand that she not just asking just to be asking. This is her love language. And
let me tell you where that stems from, though, as we developed, because at first he was just like, he said to me, I'm not lying. He was like, you only nice to me when you get gifts. That's the only time you're nice to me. Like you only nice to me when you get gifts. And so I had to actually go deep and down. And I had to, after a couple of times of saying that, I was like, that is true. But I had to go deep. And it's because past hurt, not even past adult hurt or relationship. As a child, nobody did anything for me.
Yep.
And when I say did anything for me, nobody did outside of the realm of what they were required to do. Mm-hmm. So when you take the time to go out and to do something for me, that means the world to me. It doesn't have to be of a certain value and then don't pick out something that you know that I love or I like or I take an interest in. That means you paid attention to me. Nobody paid attention to me.
Yeah.
Nobody. And so I had to see that as that's not a bad thing. So it's not so much the gift, it is the reason behind the gift. And when I feel like I need somebody to pay attention to me, hear what I'm saying, listen and act accordingly, I'll just say, I need a gift. No longer does he ask me. Before it was just like, no. But now he's just like, okay, what do you want? But I also compromise like, okay, Amina, you can't be saying this all the time. You just can't be doing this all the time. This is
because some days we just gonna have bad days. And because we have bad days, don't mean we need to dip into the love language box and pull out a gift because that's your love language.
But I also have acts of service too.
Right.
Acts of service. Somebody asked me this. People ask me this all the time. Like, yeah, we know you got small kids. It's always been like that. Yeah, you got to get them up and get them ready. And I'm like, but I don't. I pretty much just get up, get myself together, and get in my car and drive off. He takes care of getting the kids food, getting them together. And at first, initially, it was because of our schedule, but it's just become something that he does for me. He knows things that I don't like doing, and I don't have to ask him to do it. He just does. It's just something I can't deal with a cluttered, dirty house. He's going to make sure that the house is not cluttered and dirty. I don't have to say anything about it. I can come in and this is my note to him when it's just too much. Because he's busy. He works a full-time job. He has a very demanding job. I'll say, I don't want to live here anymore. That is the clue that, like, this is too much going on for me. It's too much. I can't deal with it. I can't process it. I can't immediately heat up, clean it up, getting the kids together, go clean up this, go do this, go do that. And so we learned that over time.
One thing I didn't talk about, because I know we were talking about kind of like our individual love languages, but every relationship got one section of love language that's called quality time. You know, and so sometimes, and it's so beautiful that you talked about that, because of the demands that's on our individual lives, we can forget the quality time that we have to have as a couple.
Yes.
I didn't even put it out there as my love language because that is a absolute need.
Mandate. Yes.
Like there's no, oh, that's an option. No, that's a necessity, because we have to carve out time, just like we have to carve out time for God. Just like we have to make time for God. Just like we make time for our jobs and we make time to shop and we make time for everything else, we have to make time for our marriage. We have to make time to decode our love language, because love languages change over time. As we change, the languages change. You know, the interpretation or how the language come across changes. But the more time you spend with each other, the more time the quality time brings that out to where it's not even learned. It's just part of who you are. It's part of your union. You understand, oh, you know what? I don't even have to know. I don't even have to ask. This will just be something that she'll probably like. This will be something that he probably likes, because I'm forward thinking.
Yes.
I'm always thinking, how can I improve this?
Yes.
How can I advance this? Because when I win, we win.
That's right.
When you win, I automatically win. You know, and so it is so important to just constantly be in tune with quality time with each other.
And so don't get so caught up on that. I hear the Spirit of the Lord saying this. People that want to be married and that are those that are seeking a wife and those that are waiting to be found, do not get caught up in we so different. Don't get caught up in like we come from two different parts of life. You know, me and Prophet Jeff does. We do. We come from there's things that he'll say about his childhood, and I'm like, I can't relate.
Oh, yeah.
I say it all the time, like, yeah. He's like, do you know? I'm like, yeah, nope, I didn't have that. Like, I can't relate to that. Like, I did. Yeah. He was asking me, and he has good, fond memories of childhood. I don't, because I had a different childhood. Doesn't make him better, me better, whatever the case may be. Me more effective, him more effective. No, it just is what it is. But understanding that I'm grateful that he knows what it's like to have a good childhood, so he can show that to my children. Okay? He shows that to our children, how it is to be a child. I didn't get a chance to be a kid. Like, I just didn't have that. And so I don't know what it's like to just go outside and freely ride your bike. I don't know what it's like to wake up in the morning and not have to worry about lights being on, bugs, no food being in the fridge, or, you know, so many different things that I don't know. But he ushered me into saying, this is life too.
Yeah.
That was life, but this is life. And that helped me not to get stuck back there. That helped me to be able to say, and then it also helped me to not try to overcompensate for our children or overcompensate for myself. That allowed me to feel secure with who I am.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times we can equate families and things like that, and it was like, oh, well, he's of this higher because he didn't have this.
Right.
But even when I tell my children, they don't look at me as, oh, I'm sorry, I'm pity, woe is me. Their comeback is always, but look at you now. Like,
all the time.
But, Mom, you're so grateful. We're so grateful and we're so thankful because you did all of this, and we know that you didn't have this. And so it's important.
Yeah.
And so what God gave me and where we're coming from is this. We're coming from this. What we're talking about, it's not a lot of scripture. I'm going to tell you that. It's not a lot of scripture about marriage in the Bible anyway, compared to everything else. But God said, because we are talking about a humanistic thing and we're trying to put it into a Bible type demeanor or a Bible type message. What am I saying? God is in everything, but everything is not in the Bible.
Yeah.
God is in everything. And so because God is in everything, he knew human-wise that these are some things that we are going to desire and we're going to want. So to keep us out of sin, he said it's better to marry than to sin or to burn in some versions. And so because I know your human body, he said it's not good that man should be alone. So I'm going to get him somebody that is a help me. So we're going to talk about how to deal with the human person while keeping the soul intact, because we're talking about flesh here. Okay.
Yeah. Sexual
intercourse, fleshly desires. That's what it is. But it's okay because it's deemed okay in the sight of God under the covenant of marriage.
Right.
You see how God is over it, but he ain't in it.
Yeah.
Okay. He over it, but he ain't in it.
Listen.
And so now we're going to talk about it, and we're going to talk about the things of this human flesh and how this flesh desire. I desire gifts. That's what makes me happy. There's nothing wrong with that. You got to be deeper than that. Your marriage got to be deeper than that. Okay, it is deeper than that. And that's why I can say, I need a gift. And he hear my heart cry. That means I'm in a very difficult place.
Yes.
That means that when I say that, that means that I'm praying, I'm reaching out, I'm communicating. And that's my way of telling him, I'm in a dark place. Yeah. And I'm fighting for my life. I'm in a space that is uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. I'm in a place where I can't do nothing but cry out. I can't even formulate words. I don't even know what to say. But that's my sign to say, help.
Yeah. I love how you said you don't see a lot of scripture on marriage. Mm-hmm. Our apostle grandmother said something on her live the other night. Some things have to be caught and other things have to be taught.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You've got principles of marriage, but there's some things you just gonna have to catch. Like Apostle Mother just said, experience is a good teacher. Mm-hmm. There's some things that time has taught me I just don't do. There's some things time has taught me that I just have to do. Out of 1 Corinthians 7:1, because you said something about, sex and men, when we can connect, and how a man can just be with somebody because we stay ready, right? Mm-hmm. Now, in response to the matters you wrote about, it is good for a man not to have sexual relations with a woman. But because sexual immorality is so common, y'all stay ready. It's gonna happen. Mm-hmm. I know this happening. Each man should have sexual relations with his own wife. Let's just go and get it right. Since you out here clowning, let's get it right. And each woman should have sexual relations with her own husband. A husband should fulfill his marital duties to his wife, and likewise a wife to her husband. But we have to go past that because it's past turnover.
It's past that.
It ain't just, and if you're just taught turnover, I'm home.
I had an image of color purple.
Let's go. Yeah, and wow, because that's, if your granddaddy taught you that, and your great-granddaddy taught him that, and your daddy taught you that, that's what you think. That's what you coming into the marriage with, and then you prone to push that on your children, and then your whole marriage gonna collapse because you got this turnover mentality. I know what the words say, A husband should fulfill his marital duty, and a wife should give her body to the husband, and likewise the husband should give his body to the wife. But listen, some things got to be caught and some things got to be taught, right? Because a wife does not have right over her own body, but her husband does. In the same way, a husband does not have the right over his own body, but his wife does.
It keeps the balance.
It keeps the balance because, see, where we stay on go, you bring balance. Where you stay emotional, we bring balance.
Yep.
So remember those two worlds that was out here living their best life? Now they came together to live their best life.
Yeah.
And when it's under the umbrella of God, oh my God, do not deprive one another. Because see, God has set us up to be blessed in a union that will fulfill our fleshly desires. But it's not just the flesh, because as we're going to look and talk about intimacy, intimacy is not just sex. Even though some of our love languages as men, we think that's all it is.
Right.
We think that's all it is. But when we start seeing, wait a minute, there's more to this than just that.
Right.
Wow. Now I understand when he says, give me your body, because I'm gonna give you mine. And
you know what, too? There are women, we go because we are emotional people, because we are controlled by hormones, I should say. There's times in our life and areas where our hormones are unbalanced. Okay, pregnancy, menopause. It could be Wednesday. Okay, it could be Wednesday. Just for no other reason, and it can throw us off, and then we begin to feel or our self-esteem begins to diminish because we feel like we can't perform or we're not enjoying sex or sexual intercourse. I'm here to tell you, you first have to get to the root of the thing, and the root of the thing is intimacy. And I'm only talking from a woman point because I can only talk about a woman because I'm a woman. I've always been a woman. And so I want to first give the definition of intimacy. According to Britannica, intimacy is the state of being intimate, which is marked by the consensual sharing of deeply personal information. That's information you probably never, ever, ever shared with anyone else. Those are those dirty little secrets that you hide in the back. When I met Prophet Jeff is the only person that I told, besides my sister, I will say, my dirty little secrets. And he's the only male, as well as besides outside of my sister, that I told my dirty little secrets to, because I know my sister would never judge me. So I wasn't ashamed. She made me feel comfortable. We had an intimate sister relationship. I didn't feel worried about being judged or even it thrown in my face ever. We could be at war with each other, and it was never thrown in my face. Nobody would ever be the wiser. And so I trusted her. But besides her, I felt comfortable. And I wanted him to know. I felt so comfortable that I just told him everything. I think, what was it, day two, day three? Listen, this is me. Day 3. Okay? The middle name is this.
At least by day 3.
My favorite color is this. I like this. I don't like this. This is what I want. This is what I don't want. This is what I've done. This is my plan of what I'm doing right now. And this is my plan for the future. So that there was nothing that popped up in our relationship. But I have to say, if he would not have made me feel comfortable, I would have never opened up like that. Yeah. I had to feel comfortable first.
Yeah, because I had some pop-ups too. I had one pop-up. But the fact that I was open.
Yes.
The fact that I said, this is in my closet.
Oh, 2. It was 2. One you knew about, the other one was just crazy.
Oh, the crazy pop-up? Yeah, that was but I told you about that crazy pop-up.
Y'all be thinking. I
mean, but listen, it took me 3 days, right? You said it right on live. So, I'm just saying, y'all, it don't take much when...
Oh,
listen.
wow.
But in all seriousness, one of the things, the openness, right? And this is where I want to really help us as men, because we equate intimacy with one thing, physicalness, right?
Yes.
The physical aspect of it because we're driven physically, but there's also the emotional and the mental intimacy. Yeah. And when you open with somebody like you was open with me, you paved the way for me to be open with you.
Right.
And so, and the reason I say that so much is because I learned that you cannot equate intimacy with physical things, because what you asked me a question one time, you asked me, why do you love me? And, you know, I wrestled with that. You know, I knew I loved you and I just couldn't come up with the best wording. And you said, I love you just because. Mm-hmm. And that sat with me for years, because I oftentimes think, what if there's something that happens, God forbid, that there's a physical limitation in our relationship? And then what I'm so used to defining as the way I express my intimacy or love to you, I can't do it. Mm-hmm. Or you can't do it. Then do I not love you?
Right.
But it's those moments where we've had our mental intimacy. We've had our emotional intimacy, right? Because if you don't have the physical, not diminishing the physical.
It's necessary.
Because, it's necessary, right? But you know what I'm saying? Like, if you don't have that, so we're not so driven by that. We don't want to take it away. We know it's there, but we also want to identify those other areas of intimacy.
Absolutely.
Because those parts, those are the ones that go sometimes uncultivated. Mm-hmm. And they get malnourished. And then we focus on what we only know. And when we don't get what we only know, we turn over and we say, and we look, and we don't figure out, and we can't understand why we button heads. Because everything is not settled in the bedroom.
Yeah, come on.
Just saying.
Say it again, Prophet Jeff.
Everything not settled in the bedroom.
Come on. So you got to live outside the room. I mean, the honeymoon is great, but how you going to live outside the room?
It is such a phenomenal
Come on, room. Prophet Jeff, live outside the room.
It is such a phenomenal room to live in. The honeymoon room is such a blessed place. It is probably one of the most highly favored places that you could ever be. But the reality of it is that the honeymoon fades over. It goes over. It fades away sometimes, but it doesn't go away.
Come on.
What you do there can't always be a tool that you equate outside of that room.
Because when you have a level of intimacy, think about it. Let's put it in the let's take it back to church. Mm-hmm. When you have a level of intimacy with God, you know, and you're in that intimate moment, you are totally open. You are totally free. You are totally giving all that you have to God. There is an experience that occurs. And when that experience occurs, you don't want to leave that place because of the power. I don't want to say the feeling you feel, but it's the power. It is the connection. It is the closeness. It is that and everything else. And it's the same, and it can be the same. A lot of people, have a misconception of, that there should not be changes in the bedroom. There always should be changes, because you're going to change in levels of want, needs, and desires. I know for women, as we get older and we get more mature, in who we are, we have to be able to expel that from our mouth. We have to why are you looking at me like that?
I'm just listening.
We have to
I'm just listening.
We have to tell out of our mouth. You cannot expect him to be psychic. Like, I had a problem with that. So I'm talking. I had a problem with that. When I say I'm a thug in these streets, I mean, I'm a thug in these streets. I don't talk about my feelings. That's just what I don't do. Like, feelings, what? You will never know. That's just me. That's how I am. Right. And Prophet Jeff is I was going back.
On my sleeve.
And I was reading some of the love letters that he wrote me. Yes, I have love letters, and I love them. The love letters that he wrote me, and I have to say, he has consistently been that. Now, it went from emails from back in the day to text messages. Then it went to phone calls. Now it's to, he walks me out to my car every single morning, waits for me to get in, waits for me to get settled, waits for me to order my Starbucks, because I got to do that. Put my map on, And I'm saying all of that because it has changed over time. I didn't have to tell him. It just did. I didn't say like, why I don't get no emails no more. Why I don't get no text messages no more. I understood that his same message just changed over time. If it's nighttime, he gonna walk to my car to get me. Don't let me walk out the door. He coming out to, hey, I was gonna walk you out. Like, it doesn't matter. He could be on a meeting at work, but that is his way of showing me and telling me how much he loved me, how much he cares about me. And so with that being said, I had to adapt to the change. The message was the same, but the delivery was different.
Because it's that intimacy is the glue that hold your marriage together. That's why you cannot, brush it under the rug, or you can't ignore it. And most of all, you can't ignore the signs, the symptoms, and the patterns. Because anytime there's a problem with your car, it's going to give you some signs, some symptoms, and some patterns. You're going to get some sputtering. It's not going to perform as well. There's always some signs and some symptoms, and so that intimacy, you have to keep that intimacy intact, and you also have to keep depositing it. Because there's going to be times when you have to call into that. You have to go to that place where, man, maybe there is an issue.
Yeah.
Maybe there's some problems. Maybe there's some stress. Maybe there's some challenges. Maybe there's something. But that person that I know and that person that I've known, I have to go to that place and know this is my friend.
Right.
This is somebody that I like. Now, they might be reacting or acting toward me in a funny, different way. For instance, if we having problems or we having some issues, I still have to send you the same message.
Yep.
I won't not walk you out. Now, if I don't walk you outside in the morning and I'm not on a meeting, you know what? There's a problem. Something's wrong, right? And the reason I'm saying that is if I don't have that level of intimacy with you, I'm not talking physical intimacy, but that mental intimacy, you will know automatically, wait a minute, he didn't walk me outside. There's something wrong.
And I have called back when I got in my car. Excuse me, sir. I don't know what your issue is.
There's some times, y'all. Now, listen. Don't get me wrong. Now, I will walk out, but I might. All right. Have a good day. I love you. Kids, boom, bye. There's not that closeness, and so those are those signs, right? So you can pick up on those signs because of the relationship we have.
But it also shows too that I pay attention to.
That's it.
That I notice it. And it also shows them that it's not for naught. Like, I notice that hey, this is wrong? Different. Yes. So sometimes I call like, hey, what's wrong? Other times I call, get your attitude right. Get it in check.
But watch
and there's other times where he like, you know what? We ain't doing this today.
Right.
The kids mock him all the time. We ain't doing this.
Right.
Not
we're not doing this in 2023.
We're not doing this week. We're not, today? Yeah,
right.
We're not doing this today.
Right.
And that's his sign to me to say, because Papa Jeff will check me. Right. I don't know if y'all know this or not. He will 100% check me when I need to be checked. And it be so subtle that you like, hold on, did you just? Yeah, you just checked me, and I listen, but it's like, dang, I didn't even think that person. I didn't even think he cared, But when I don't do it, it's like, oh, okay, well, you actually care about what this is, so this actually does matter. The message that I'm sending has been received, like, so it's understood, Yes, Apostle Mother, Prophet Jeff will check me. Yes, he be having attitudes and everything. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. And sometimes, most of the time in the morning, he sparks from these kids.
Now, I'm glad you said that. So, and I always say this, we have to get to the root of the matter. So it's not me. It's usually induced by something or caused by something. But I want to go back to something you said. You said how you pay attention. You pay attention, so you call back and you know. And so just as much as you pay attention and you realize something wrong, I have to be willing to put that same energy into telling you what's wrong. And sometimes we as men, it's hard for us to express ourselves.
When we were out of town in KFC drive-thru and we ordered that, all I can say is this: as you recognize or may not have realized, I carry business as usual because he always frustrated with us. And because we do give him a hard time, he lives with 3 females. 3 females. He gets frustrated. Our son gets frustrated, but we don't pay attention to it because we expect it, we know it, just like he don't pay attention to us because he expects it and he knows it. Yeah. But that's how you get to know each other. You do not get stuck on the small things. Right. You don't take it, I don't take it personal. He got a right to get irritated. Like, oh, don't you get irritated with me? I'm your wife. Why not? If I'm being irritating and I can be, I'm telling you, God created this man just for me. You know how I know? Because I'm tough. And I'm hard to love. And that's not a bad thing. When I say hard to love because of the things that I went through, because of who I am, just in God, it's not an easy task. But he does it well. So sometimes he does ignore me. He do let me know when I do too much, like you getting on my nerves, okay? And sometimes I pay attention, sometimes I don't. But with all that being said is this. I know when it is becoming an issue, though. I know when it's becoming a problem. There's a time and a place for everything. Lord. I know when it's becoming an issue, and I will call or I'll come back and say, I'm sorry. Okay? I apologize. I'm gonna, and then if he tells me this is what I don't like, because I can do some things that you don't like. Again, I'm my own person. He will say, I don't like this. And I'd be truthful and I'm going to say, I'm going to work on it. And I do. And I work on it until it's done and it's changed and it's no more. Because he's expressed to me, I don't like this. Okay? Right. I don't want this. I purposely did something that I don't do often. I put red lipstick on. I did this for a reason, as I was, God told me to go grab it and put it on. Let me just say this disclaimer. Prophet Jeff don't have anything, he doesn't have anything against red lipstick, okay? Nothing at all. I don't. He just is scarred by it because of, his mother was older when she had him, so he grew up, he was the only child around a lot of older women, older people, secretaries from schools wearing red lipstick. So he traumatized from things of the past. He doesn't ask me to do a lot besides he likes my hair long and the no red lipstick. Oh, he just hates the red lipstick on me. And so I put this on. And Pastor Mother, I wasn't going to bring that out. He do not like ugly feet. If I say my shoes, I try them on and I say they're a little tight, he like, take them off. Take them off. Take them off. They rubbing. Wait, let me see. He's scarred by ugly feet too. And so I put this on because although he expressed to me, this is not something that I care for. This is not something that I would prefer. I still love you. Yeah. It still does not diminish the way that I see you. Yes. It still does not make me unattracted to you because we have a connection that's more than just physical. We have something that goes way deeper than that. We have an Adam and Eve type love. I am his rib. I am made of him. I just believe when God made him in heaven, he said, this is Amina's husband and she is his wife and he will find her. Because I'm a lot younger, so he had to do that first before he made me for him because I'm a lot younger. But with that being said, I'm just joking. I am younger now. But I believe that because he knew what I was going to go through. Yeah. In childhood, he knew what I needed to feel safe and confident and comfortable. He knew what I needed in order for me to sustain and for me to be the prophet that he called me to be and to do the work. He knew. So he knew that he couldn't take what I say personal. I'm a jokester. I rib all day.
And do.
I rib myself. I talks about myself. I do. So anybody in this house, dogs, anybody, gerbils, hamsters, anybody gonna fish, you have the possibility of getting it from me. And I laugh and I can't, my kids say I don't take anything serious. And I just be like, I can't because I just can't take it serious. Because I have to laugh about it. Because there was a time in my life where I couldn't laugh about it. But he doesn't take what I say personal. But I'm wise enough to know I don't hit below the belt. I will say nothing that will damage you or destroy you because I've been there before. So I had to teach when we had disagreements of how not to go below the belt, how not to say harmful things, because he grew up when people said harmful stuff to people. And it's like, how you gonna say that about that person and then lay next to that person? So this is where the checks and balances come. I also had to teach my children, we don't play like that. We don't say things that hurt. We don't, when we're made, that's not a joke. That's serious. We do not do harm to people. When we're joking, it's a joke for everyone. If one of us finds it unfunny, it is hurtful, and we apologize, we repent, and we build them back up. We do not leave each other damaged. Yeah. Because when I'm damaged, he damaged. And it should be. This is how you can know if you do not have a true and intimate connection with your mate. If they can see you hurting and not give two cares. Yeah. I can walk in and I don't got to say a word. And Prophet Jeff would say, how was your day? I'm like, it was a day. By the time I make it home, I got a bath ran. I got what you want for dinner. These kids, leave your mama alone. Have some you time. Yeah. Vice versa. Hearing in his voice like, they acting crazy at work, huh? He don't got to say it to me because I can hear it because we are best friends.
Right. And you have to be with somebody that you like.
That you vibe with.
You have to. And I love the fact that even though sometimes we think who we with, especially years into it, like we've kind of grown apart, but if you started, I was telling you about that tree that's out there. Like, so we have a tree in our backyard. I noticed one part of the tree was dead. And I'm like, it's confusing me. How is half of the tree dead? But when I looked at the root, I noticed it was two separate trees that somebody had twisted together, right? And I was just amazed at the fact that I didn't realize it until I saw no fruit versus fruit.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you did say that.
Yeah. So I'm like, how is this tree halfway dead? And I believe that's the same true for marriages.
Come on.
Marriages, you either going to be in or you're going to be out.
Period.
I don't care how far away you've grown, you still connected. And there's still hope. There's still a chance. There's still a vow. There's still a covenant. Yes. And if that covenant has been made, the covenant that you made with God, before those witnesses, before you and your spouse, before your friend, God will bring that back together.
Yes.
There's nothing that is too hard for God. You know, and the reason I say that is because what I brought to the table, the fact that I exposed my all to you, and it literally came, I don't say it came back to haunt me because it didn't, because I wasn't hiding anything. But the fact that had I not been honest, had I not been open.
Let's tell them what you was honest about, because it matters. I got sued.
I mean, no, whoa.
Well, he got sued.
Time out.
He got sued.
Listen, y'all. Listen.
Because
this is
he
all.
broke up with somebody.
Listen, somebody brought a wrongful. I didn't even know this was possible.
Lawsuit.
That you could sue somebody. Brothers, be careful who you mess with. Be careful. I'm being serious right now. Because you got to be careful. Depending on what state you live in, you better learn your local laws, bylaws. This individual sued me and put a whole class action suit against me, saying that I took. They didn't even say I.
No, no, because okay, he stopped talking to the girl,
Lord.
And so when I guess I don't know if they conversed before then, but he stopped talking when we started dating and cut her off completely, and so she sued him, and so
I had been talking.
He went to court the second time. I was pregnant, with the twins, and she asked me, Can I pay for the lawsuit?
Yeah. And I'm like, how did we even get to this place?
I was okay. We were still, she was expecting that to cause friction between us. But I had already knew. He already explained it to me. I had already knew. Listen, I was talking to this one girl. It wasn't nothing serious. She was back in the day, whatever the case may be. But I stopped immediately when I talked to you. I already knew. Like, I already knew. And so when she took me to court, she was expecting us to be beefing.
Right.
You know, and when we weren't, she got upset. And it was because he was honest. I knew what to expect. I knew what to do.
Who was it? Lord have mercy.
I had never seen her before. But yeah, I was just like, you won. When I saw her, I was like, you definitely leveled up. You won.
Yeah.
You won.
It was nobody, Apostle Mother, that was known. This was pre-salvation.
But it was a couple of people. No, it was a couple of people that I dealt with because when we first got married, your father passed away right before we got married. It was a couple of things in church, I would say, that occurred. But I will say this, and this has been throughout the years, because you have been a clergy or whatever the case may be. But I never felt worried. Yeah. I never felt concerned. I've always been secure. I'm walking away. Like, you talking to her, I'm out of here. Because I trust you, but most of all, I trust God. You know, so it doesn't bother me now, because when he need help, okay.
Stragglers?
Did Apostle Mother, he did. He did.
There were some situations.
It was a couple of them. One of them knocked on our door.
No, that was a childhood friend that I grew up with.
I know. But the thing behind
sometimes, brothers, this is what I will say. Sometimes when you find your good thing, not that you would think, but when you find that which God has for you, you will find out things about people that you didn't know, things that you may have been blind and oblivious to. That's why you have to be open. That's why you have to be honest. That's why you have to be, intimate with that person, spending that time in the very beginning.
Yes.
If you haven't been spending time, especially nowadays, because it's so easy for those situations to come in if you don't have those other areas.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So if you lopsided.
That's never been an issue.
Yeah, that's never been. Yeah. And so when you don't, and so I think, and I love the fact that we have this experience in that area, because it lets us see what happened if you don't.
Right.
If you don't have those lines of communication open, you'll get a curveball out of left field. Like, neither one of those, I don't even consider the one knocking on the door a situation. But the court case, definitely. Learn your laws, and I'm being so serious, learn your statutes. I did not know that somebody could take you to small claims court, and because you do not show up, they can put a whole suit against you, and because you do not show up or you don't answer the door when you see strange people knocking,
a whole court case,
you know that you pay all your bills, a whole court case will be found.
And then ask if I could pay it.
Y'all, I had to get that person out my life. What do you want? What do I gotta do? I don't even care how we got here. We here now. We need to get from here. Right. This is the wilderness. This is the bad side of the wilderness. But
see, had we not talked about it, not knowing, because when we first got together, you were just a minister in the church. And so when we first got together, it wasn't even but had we not dealt with that, then I believe that I wouldn't be so confident in who I am that I don't get in the way of God. Because there are a lot of people, it's not for the faint of heart dealing with or being in a relationship or a marriage with someone that is in ministry, because the devil comes knocking at the door, if you didn't know that. And so I think that, and there's been some people throughout the years who have tried to overstep the bounds, and have been disrespectful to me, but you put it in check. I didn't have to look for you to do it. I didn't have to ask you. We ain't never had a discussion about it. We never had a conversation on it. It's never been any of that. And that comes from open communication, the intimacy level that we have, which started off as friends. We started off telling each other about the most craziest things that's happened to us, what we did, what we got caught doing, what people don't know we did. We laughed about it, made jokes about it. I mean, all kinds of stuff. And that allowed me to see you. And one time you said to me when I was telling you some things, you was like, "Oh, girl, that's all you did."
Right.
Well, and it's so crazy. Let me tell you. And I was just I didn't expect it. Like you. That's crazy. but it made me feel comfortable in who I am and who I was with, because I understood that you know me.
Yeah.
You know not what I got on and when I get dressed and go out. You know the Amina that wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning with my hair all over my head. You know Amina with the bonnet on. You know Amina at her lowest points, but you also know me at my highest points. You know I'm gonna be acting crazy, okay? When I'm real cute, you know I'm gonna be acting like I'm real cute, and you just let me act real cute. I know you dramatic, and I know that you're going to put about 2 outfits on and look in the mirror, put on some Buffy glasses before I know all that. I expect it.
Listen.
Okay?
God did a good thing when he created me. And he did. But I'm not playing. I'm not playing. But I wanted to say this. I had wrote this down. Love is bigger than you are. And you can invite love. You can receive love. But you can't dictate how love shows itself. And I think sometimes marriages, we have to remember that love wants to dictate itself.
Right.
It wants to show itself. Those situations prove itself, especially the court case. Brothers, make sure you learn your local laws. I just had to insert that one more time, especially if you in Wisconsin. That taught me, and I will never forget that, the power of love. Because what I thought would have happened and was going to happen didn't happen.
It didn't.
Right? I knew all I could do was be honest with you and accept whatever came along with it. Either you was going to accept it or you didn't. But you didn't only accept it, you roll with it. So it's like that boat that's out there on the ocean. You're not tossed to and fro. You using the power of the wind.
Yes.
You're going to get where you need to go. And I believe that marriages that's out here today that's being bombarded with pornography and it's not going to last, and there's no love, there's no connection. You got other options. That's not who you supposed to be with. It's easier to trade in and trade up and level up. No, I believe that there's still wind in your sails. I believe there's still winds in that I do. I believe that there's still some wind in the I love you. I don't care if you haven't said it, if you haven't felt it, if you haven't expressed it. I just believe that in my heart of heart, that there is power in the commitment and in the covenant that you made before God.
And just to my married women, I heard the Spirit of the Lord say, just to let you know, these are things, and people may say, well, I don't need to know about marriage. These are things and tools that you can do so that when you are found, you've already done the work in you. Yes. God has already done the work in you. One thing that I had to do was I had to ask God to sever all of the spiritual ties that I had, all of what do you call it? All of the soul ties. Also, I had to ask God to heal me. There's things that happened, in my relationships in the past, and I just had to heal from it. I had to ask God to make me whole. And then I had to say, God, I want to know me. What do I like? I found out that my favorite color was pink. I never knew. What's my favorite food? I found out I don't have one. I don't have a favorite anything. I also found out that I could have an addictive personality. And so I go through cycles of eating the same thing over and over. Then I don't want it anymore. Then over and over. I learned some things about me. So when I presented myself to Prophet Jeff, this is who I am. When we were in the stages of getting to know each other, a booger bear didn't pop out. It's like, I got married to you. Now I don't know who is this stranger that's living with me. Yes. No, I have bouts of doing these things. I do this sometimes. This is me. I'm undecisive. I'm never probably gonna really ever pick somewhere to go to eat. Something as simple as that. So he's like, what you want to eat today? What am I say?
It don't matter.
It don't matter. But then what else am I going to say?
You decide.
And then, not that, I don't like this. And I have a very, very picky food habit or whatever. I don't eat a lot of things. And so knowing that, okay, I'm going to cook her food separate from this food, just getting to know me. Getting to know who I am as a person. It allowed me to be able to communicate that with him. So much work is not spent with, I'm finding me and trying to find out about him. He trying to find about him and himself. Let's do some healing since we got time.
Yeah. And I think that's a good way, a good place to kind of anchor for next week. Getting to know. Next week you can talk about blending your family as one.
Yes, definitely.
And she also said, Apostle Mother also said, that's phenomenal, Apostle Mother. Taking care of a child that's not from you and how you develop being a father to that child. Listen, that is going to bless y'all. That's going to bless so many, because I did not want children. I didn't have children. And so for me, that was one of my prerequisites coming in, you know, on the table. This is what I wanted. But I believe that that is a good place. Let's spend some time with each other. Let's spend some time getting to know our spouse this week. We got time. We got all week, right? I don't care if it's been 2 weeks into your marriage or 22 years in. Let's spend some time with each other. You know, write a letter to them. Do something different, something that you've never done. Or, brothers, if it's something that you used to do, you know, maybe I need to write you an email.
Yeah, probably not, because I'm probably going to check it.
Yeah, nah, you're not going to check it.
I check a million emails at work. I definitely want to check my own email.
Let's figure something out that you can do, right? You know, that I don't want to say spark back because the flame hasn't gone, but to ignite what's still there.
And then to the single ones, take this time to start writing down, or to just thinking about, or asking God, like, what do I need in a mate? What do I need in my helpmate? What do I desire? What is it, God, that you would have for me? You know, what do I need to be? Because sometimes we asking for Porsches and we ain't nothing but a hoopty. Because we ain't worked on ourselves. Listen, Jesus was the miracle worker, and he has gone back with the Father. So this brother is not the miracle worker. So there's some things that we have to do with ourselves, in ourselves, to prepare ourselves. So women of God that are waiting to be found, let's do the work in ourselves, so that we can find ourselves, and we can get rid of some things, and we can put on some things, and we can learn some things, and we can be ready for some things. I pray that this blessed you guys. Next week we'll be back. We'll be back at 12:30 next week we'll be back next week to go over. We're going to talk about taking care of your children that's not yours, and how we blend families and things like that, and whatever else God gives us. But that's going to be the main topic. If you have anything that you want to discuss, feel free to put it in the chat, or you can inbox it to us, and it will remain anonymous. So if you feel led to sow into this ministry, because marriage is a ministry, so we're not coming from Prophet Jeff, Prophetess Amina, or Jeffrey and Amina. We're coming from Pillar of Fire Global. Okay, so if you feel led to sow a seed, please do so to our Cash App at $POFIM. That's Cash App $POFIM. We thank you all for tuning in. We hope that you were blessed, and we pray to see you back next week.
Amen. Appreciate you all. We will be back. We praying for your marriage. We praying for you. Let's go. Amen.